This week we travel to Mbale town to witness the launch of yet another Imbalu Circumcision season. The biannual event is an ancient Bugisu ritual that stretches back in history. It is an important rite of passage for boys and signals their maturity into men. In the past, the Imbalu was synonymous with the year-long celebrations, but not anymore. Although the modern version is still vigorously celebrated, it is more severely restricted and only takes place during school holidays. The advent of HIV/AIDS has also had its impact. Surgeons now have to follow strict medical hygiene in order to prevent its spread, unlike in the past when one knife was used to circumcise as many people as long as it was still sharp. The flow of people to the ceremony started as early as 6 a.m. Some on foot, others in cars and lorries, while others still on motorbikes. Security was tight since the president was expected, adding to the crush as people lined up for security checks before the event. On the sidelines, food vendors prepared their eatables, even though the environment was not the best. Inside the arena, all eyes were on the young boys in their cultural dress as they prepared to take part in the dancing competition. I'm told the Imbalu would be incomplete without dancing. Nine-year-old Noah Wepkulu caught my eye, first because he was so small and also because he danced beautifully.
I
started dancing in February 2010 with my brothers. Some of them are going to get circumcised. I enjoy the dance.
Many people have heard of the Imbalu, but they do not know how it all started.
We had a woman who was called Nabarwa. She was a Maasai. She got married to a man called Fuya. Fuya was the son of Muhammad, a born of Mutoto in Wongoho. And the condition given to the man to take that girl was that he must be circumcised.
But has the ceremony changed much over the years?
In the past, of course, people used to circumcise when they were very big. Today, they circumcise when they are very young, between 16 and 18. And so they used drugs, which were herbs. But today, they are using drugs which are, of course, modern, bandages and what have you.
In this day and age, the question that lingers is why this ancient ceremony is still practiced.
The pain inflicted on you is a reminder that you must be a man of a heart.
Enoch Mafumala was one of the 4 young men circumcised at this year's launch ceremony. At 18, he's only in primary 6. He told us he got circumcised because tradition requires him to go through the ritual like his forefathers did.
You'll have no respect among your community unless you are circumcised.
For the Ramasava, circumcision dates back to the 18th century. For them, it's not just a culture to read about in the history books. It means the transition from boyhood to manhood.
The fact that you have jumped to manhood does not mean automatically you marry immediately. There are also other things you must do for yourself. And one of them in the modern world is you complete your education. So right now as I talk, most of the children in secondary schools are circumcised. But they are now left to fulfill other things that will enable them do their role and fulfill the manhood.
But in this day and age, the Imbalu has undergone changes. The knives must now be sterilized and all circumcisers have to have a certificate to practice issued by the district health office. We also learned some new intriguing facts.
You get married, you produce children, and you die before you are circumcised. You have to be circumcised when you are dead.
The question is, why is it so important for a man to be circumcised before he is buried?
If you had children and you are yourself not circumcised, then they get circumcised from uncircumcised man, that ritual actually has a backfire.
Explain that.
What I mean is, your children, they may not grow well. They may grow undisciplined, and some may die prematurely. So that ritual is only repairable when you circumcise the person who gave birth to the children.
And going by the enthusiasm of the Bamasava and their belief in it, the ancient practice will still be around for a long time to come. From now until the end of the year, the Imbalu is going to be the main social and cultural event in Bugisu, with thousands of young boys maturing into young men after this rite of passage. The season will culminate in December, where hundreds of young men will be circumcised simultaneously. Then it will be quiet throughout next year until next season in 2012. I'm Rosemary Nankabura for NTV Connect.